Hey, look, come here. I'm not gonna arrest you on it, all right? This is just for the being. Come on, officially. All right. You know your license is no good, but I'm not too worried about that. That's a ticket, right? That's a ticket.
Florida rapper Kodak Black, whose real name is Bill K. Capri, is once again facing serious legal troubles. Known for his frequent run-ins with the law, Kodak has recently been arrested in connection with felony drug trafficking and possession charges. A new status hearing for the case was scheduled for April 28th, a pivotal moment in what appears to be a worsening legal situation. During recent court proceedings, courtroom discussions revealed that prosecutors and law enforcement officials believe Kodak may not be given another chance to avoid jail time. Though the exact length of a potential sentence remains uncertain, the tone in court strongly indicated that authorities are growing increasingly frustrated with his repeated offenses. Kodak Black has been out on bail over the past several months while awaiting further developments in this case. However, his behavior during this period has only intensified concerns. A notable example is a disturbing live stream that surfaced about 2 weeks ago. In the video, Kodak appeared visibly disoriented, jumping onto kitchen counters and mumbling incoherently. At one point, he can be heard saying, "Boy got some boy on your back. On your back? Up on map? And you can't." A phrase that many viewers interpreted as nonsensical and possibly influenced by substance use. Fans and critics alike have expressed concern for his mental and physical well-being, questioning whether he is in a state to manage the responsibilities that come with his freedom. This recent arrest echoes a pattern of behavior for Kodak Black. Just 2 years ago, on February 28, 2023, he faced similar charges. At that time, Kodak was arrested for possession of controlled substances and a firearm. During the investigation, he admitted to consuming drink, commonly known as lean, a mixture of codeine, cough syrup, and soda, but denied the use of other illicit drugs. He ultimately pleaded not guilty to the charges, yet the case added to an already lengthy criminal history that includes robbery, assault, drug possession, and weapons offenses. Over the years, Kodak has been granted several chances to reform. He received a commutation of a prior federal sentence from former President Donald Trump in January 2021, which allowed him early release from prison. Many viewed that as an opportunity for a fresh start. Unfortunately, Kodak has continued to find himself in legal trouble, suggesting a troubling cycle that he has not been able to break. While his music continues to resonate with fans and maintain commercial success, his repeated legal issues threaten to overshadow his career. As the legal process continues and the possibility of a prison sentence looms, many are wondering whether Kodak Black will finally face significant consequences, and if this might be the turning point that forces a change in his lifestyle. The next steps in his case could determine not just his freedom, but the future trajectory of his career and life.
I was on the and I was sleep in front of my family house, bro. That's it. I was on that drink, sleep in front of my people's house. But that ain't illegal. And that ain't illegal. So all that shit is just the process that it had to be in other mud shot. The process that even though like bogus is plastered all over the internet. Then on top of that, it's like, bro, like, I'm Haitian. I mean, and then it's just like my era, bro. Like, nah, like, man, you better.
Shortly after the Instagram Live, the feds raided Kodak Black's Florida home, arresting the rapper. He hired lawyer Brian Cohen, who managed. Shortly after the Instagram Live, the feds raided Kodak Black's Florida home, arresting the rapper. He hired lawyer Brian Cohen, who managed to secure a deal that would send Kodak to rehab instead of having him serve a 2-year jail sentence. Kodak, whose real name is Bill Capri, faced a judge after turning himself in following an arrest warrant issued for violating his pretrial release. Authorities claimed he tested positive during a random drug test earlier that month. Kodak addressed the judge, expressing his frustration, saying that something felt off about the situation. His defense was that the pretrial release technician might have mixed up his sample with someone else's. "There's no way you tested positive," Kodak argued, suggesting that a hair sample could clear up the alleged mix-up. Judge Barbara Duffy then asked for a hair sample to settle the issue, but Kodak refused, choosing instead to check into the Legacy Rehabilitation Facility for 30 days as part of his release conditions. However, despite his rehab plans, Kodak committed the same crime again, and the prosecutors aimed to use his recent behavior to push for a lengthy prison sentence. Kodak's struggles became apparent when he went live on Instagram, saying he was waiting to pass away. His words were heavy. Everybody's waiting. While we wait, other people too, they don't know how to let time do its thing. Like, bro, let time do it. Time is the best thing. Whether it heals or whatever, it's going to let you know. You have to be patient. Love is patient. Love is kind. What upset many was that Kodak was reading from a viral tweet that said, "Every time I see Kodak Black, I get so sad. That man has like 4 baby mamas, and none of these greedy women really care about him. Why aren't they helping him? Probably sitting around waiting for him to pass away." That was just the start, as more tweets surfaced. One read, "Every day I see a new video of Kodak strung out, not even acting like a human. Is anyone going to help him?" Another fan wrote, "Anyone else afraid that if Kodak doesn't get help, we're going to lose him? Things are bad." Fans grew even more concerned after a viral video showed Kodak eating chicken in the middle of the road, prompting Kanye West to speak out, urging other rappers to step in and help him.
Okay, so I thought Kodak was in Miami. I see he's in Atlanta. So I'm getting a flight down to Atlanta right now and do something. So anybody that's already down in Atlanta that knows him and knows anything about him, I know I said rappers and all that, but right now I need y'all, man, to like really go and do something. Like we can't, I know y'all think I'm crashing out. Y'all, you see me talking, I'm expressing myself. And look, man, please don't, I know I said a lot, and just let me go down there and go help this man.
Later that night, it became even clearer that Kodak Black was in serious need of help. He was pacing around his room, claiming to be Drake's favorite rapper, repeating the statement over and over. While he might be right about that, it also revealed that Kodak was clearly not surrounding himself with the right people. Instead of getting the help he needed, it seemed like the people around him were more focused on recording him in the hope of going viral. "I'm Drake's favorite rapper," he said confidently, as those around him echoed, "Yeah, he always says that. Even his people always say that, even when he's not around." To understand how Kodak reached this point, we need to look at his past. Kodak had spent time in rehab after a trafficking and possession charge, where he worked to turn his life around. He started building healthier habits, writing music again, working out daily, and improving as a person. His comeback single Walk racked up 33 million views online, showing his potential. However, the success seemed to go to his head, and he fell back into old habits. Kodak later appeared on a live stream where he exhibited erratic behavior, sweating heavily, swatting at things that weren't there, and shouting out random phrases. The following morning, Kodak took to Instagram to try and explain himself. People always be on that type of stuff, saying all types of stupid things. But I take one, and y'all be so hurt, I don't want to Anyway, everybody else who's talking like that, they got no motion, they broke, they hurt, or they're trying to get attention. Fans were disappointed by his relapse, seeing the live stream as a setback in his sobriety. However, one positive outcome was that fellow rapper Bonk reached out to offer help to Kodak.
"Man, we worried about you. You don't look too healthy. In front of outside looking in, it's obvious that you're and I don't believe for 1 second you just doing for your own enjoyment. Nah, you trying to find something to fill up that void that's within your chest. See, I've been where you at right now. But by the grace of God, I'm clean. Them strongholds have been pulled down. Them chains are broken. So I'm qualified to talk about this. You got to make a decision, bro. You got too many people looking up to you. And from one father to another, got to set the right example for your son. This coming from somebody who genuinely cares. So if you come across this video, you want to sit at the table, break bread, man,
Despite his previous attempts to explain himself, Kodak Black continued using substances. Another clip surfaced of him saying, "I'm not sober. Do I look sober?" He went on, "I love when Kodak changed, so I know it's over. For what? Look at all this money. Look at all this cash. For what?" Kodak was even spotted at a Ravens football game visibly off, with one reporter sharing that NFL fans were concerned about his health. While showing support for the Ravens, he appeared to be out of sorts, responding with, "Yeah, that boy Yak in the city. Yeah, Yak in the city. Let them know." This moment marked the final straw for many in the rap community, as it was clear that Kodak needed help. In response to his downward spiral, Wallow, from prison to prosperity, shared some life advice with Kodak, saying, "Don't ever doubt yourself. Your babies are counting on you. There's going to be times when you doubt yourself, when you're in pain, but them babies are counting on you. You got to be here. A lot of people will surround you because of your success, but I'm not here to be a yes man. I got love for you because you're a young cat, and I was once young too." Wallow reminded Kodak that his life was bigger than just him, especially with his responsibilities as a father. According to Google, Kodak has 5 kids and is the primary provider for his family, making it clear that he couldn't afford to keep making the same mistakes. However, the very next day, Kodak was invited to the White House, where he started rambling in front of the crowd. Imagine a world where all of us were just one color, like blue or green. Or, if everybody was smart, you gotta have dope people. What if everybody was rich? Who's gonna take out the trash? This strange rant quickly went viral. Kodak later responded, apologizing for his actions, saying, "I'm sorry to everybody. I'm sorry to the people I hurt. I'm sorry if you don't understand me, and I'm sorry if you don't like me." He went on to express regret for the pain he caused, especially apologizing to his mom and the women he had hurt, including his ex, Miami, who accepted his apology. However, shortly after, Kodak responded to Kanye West's support, saying, "Kanye, a real one. You know why? He's the only one who still likes Diddy. I'm pretty sure the feds are going to seize all that boy's accounts, but Kanye did some real stuff. People who wrote me off like Kanye are real ones." Unfortunately, the footage of Kodak's erratic behavior could be used as evidence in his new case and could potentially lead to him being sent back to prison.
So it looks like this mess with Kodak Black being hooked on hard substances isn't getting any better, because he just admitted that he has no plans of going to rehab and that he's waiting for the day he ODs and dies. Kodak has admitted to trying to get help before, but unfortunately, it hasn't yielded any results at all. In fact, things are only getting worse for him. Just recently, he was spotted high as hell while eating chicken in the street. People already knew he had a substance problem, but this was the first time people saw just how bad it really was. Even Kanye West, of all people, came out to address the situation and took a flight all the way to Miami to figure out what substance Kodak is inhaling and how things even got this bad to begin with. Kodak has a long history of substance abuse, and he even admitted that despite all his attempts to get help, he's still hooked on it. He spoke about his failed attempts at getting help back in 2022 when he got into some trouble with the police for co-possession. "I think you meant drug possession?" But that wasn't even the worst of it. When he was arrested, they tested him to see if he had any drugs in his system, and to no one's surprise, he tested positive for fentanyl. The judge ordered him to go to a mandatory 30-day rehab, but he didn't go. And when he was ordered months later to come in again for another drug test, he didn't show up. When he finally did, they tested him for fentanyl once again, and yep, he was positive. His lawyer tried to argue that the lab technician might have mixed up Kodak's test with someone else's. But when the lab technician offered to do the test again, this time using Kodak's hair instead of his urine, since hair can trace drug use back 90 days, unlike urine which only traces a few days, Kodak's lawyer turned down the offer. "Child, please." Kodak later went on live and denied being on drugs. However, he admitted that he had been struggling with lean. Fast forward to a few weeks after this mess, everyone actually thought Kodak was going to die when a video went viral of him getting rushed to the emergency room after allegedly ODing. The person who posted the video also added the caption, #OD, #Kodak Black, #prayers. Mind you, just about 3 days before this incident, he was on IG Live, high as a kite and slurring his words. This wasn't the only time he found himself involved in some mess that had to do with drugs. He actually got into it with Ray J, and even threatened to jump him right after Ray J accused him of coming on Drink Champs all intoxicated on all kinds of stuff. Ray said that when he took Kodak to go meet Trump, he was high as hell and started acting a fool over there. He tweeted, "Yo, somebody needs to grab bro and make sure he good. This ain't the interview nor the move. We gotta help this dude. I took him to Trump House and he did the most." They were not happy with the experience because he had no guidance and no respect. Yo, whack 100. Let's figure out how we can help this guy instead of watching him self-destruct. Now, as I said, Kodak wasn't here for Ray J putting his business out there. So he got on Instagram Live and went off on him. But get this, y'all, when he was on live denying the allegations, he snorted some of that snow powder right in front of us. You can't make this up, y'all. People also brought up the fact that Kodak has been dropping hints in a lot of his songs over the years about his addiction, but everyone just chooses